Welcome back to the DoorDash LCO. It's time to get down to what matters. From the fans, we got more memes from you guys at home. The content's here, and the content is, of course, king. So before we jump into match 2 of the evening, which I'm sure all you guys at home are excited for, let's bring up and see what you guys have been working on at home. Davo Erlo. So I'm going to guess that's mac and cheese. All the puns. Jubes. And that's no fat Skimmy. He's not happy. So, what's going
why
on
is my
there, Skimmy?
face like, why do I look so upset? I know mine, right? Skim and a me. So the me is like those little customizable characters on the Nintendo Wii. I know that, how it says you got to try and solve these, but yeah, what's up with our faces, eh, Mac? What's going on?
You just got your RBF cranking, I think. Jubes, you happy with yours?
Is mine because I'm a gummy bear? I look like a gummy bear?
That's because you're a
Jubes.
treat.
What? Is that a lolly? I've never heard of it. What? I've never heard of it, man. What? That's not a me problem. That's a lolly problem.
Oh, wow. So, okay. Lolly's too niche. Now, let's jump into the second meme that's been sent across.
Well done, Davo.
I think this one's more of a how you're watching the game. So, productive work morning, blurring the screen, very, very important. You know, making sure no one leaks any of your work business data. But also, it looks light there where you are, Lorenzo. Please let us know where you're actually watching from.
He said morning, so I dare say it is in the AM for him.
So it must be somewhere, yeah, we're thinking Europe.
Hemispheres, somewhere in the other hemispheres.
Yeah, well, Africa was 9 a.m. An hour ago, so probably thinking, you know, somewhere in the EUs. Yeah, I'd be guessing.
I will say, Lorenzo, if I, for whatever reason, do get an Excel task, I will be straight into your DMs, buddy. Don't you worry about that. I'll write up the contract, signed, sealed, and delivered. You do all my Excel tasks, no dramas. We got our stat man now for the LCO. Congratulations, Lorenzo, you're hired.
You're promoted. Congratulations.
See that?
Beautiful job.
Hand in your content, you could get jobs. I'm handing them out like they're candy. And don't even worry about who says yes or who says no, because it goes through me.
Exactly. Although you don't know what Jubes are. So I think I have to deduct some points for that. Now, speaking of points, let's talk about some points on this matchup, Peace and Legacy. Of course, let's talk Peace first. So they are looking pretty good. They've had a couple of roster swaps. They're starting to find their feet. And Tally has been doing some work there in the top lane. But Jubes, is he doing enough?
Look, I think Tally had a blinder of a first game, had a bit of a shambles of a second game. And, you know, I think he'll be his own biggest critic when it comes to that. Look, I'm not sold on this Peace lineup just yet. You know, they need to show us a little bit more. They need to show us why they're with the team, that we're favourites come first, you know, I guess first few weeks of the season. They showed us some excellent form. Now they've had a bit of time to mesh. Tally with Babip with Halo, you know, Violet and Abby. So I'm expecting this week them to make a very big statement. And why was that funny? And why was that funny?
My dog just ran into the room. I think it snuck in.
Yeah, he's like, this Jubes guy thinks he knows what he's talking about. What an idiot. What an idiot.
Get him off, eh?
Yeah.
I should have thrown that one to Skimmy. I knew it. Now, Skimmy, how about you tell me about Legacy, all right? Legacy, they've been doing pretty well so far. They need to get a few more upsets, a few more W's on the board to make it to playoffs. Tell me how they're going to do that.
That's a good question, because last week it wasn't a week that I want to remember, right? 3 defeats on the bounce against some very strong opposition and got shown. This is the reason the standings are where they are right now. So I'm unsure really where they go from here, because we've seen I don't want to say inflexibility, but I feel like, you know, they've been cracked to a degree, right? Beat them early, and then they've got no steam left, right? We've seen them obviously beat Peace in the past, and a lot of that was just fantastic understanding of game state and what they could achieve from it. But I feel like people have cracked and say, look, if we can take out Sybil, then his champion offers nothing. If we can put behind Incurso, he's going to just looking to, you know, dive on in and find kills elsewhere. But when they're down, you just feel like they lack that steam post 15.
Of course, of course. Now, were there any changes in the jungle that would change what Sybil could play today?
Yeah, Graves, why not? We've seen Graves already. He's a bit of a Graves guy.
Yep.
But the problem, not the problem with Sybil, because it's not a problem. He's just a gank guy. He's just a ganker. He's a ganker and a banker. So he needs to play the likes of Elise, like the likes of Xin Zhao, potentially even the Volley Bear. And that's where Legacy have found their most of their success. But Elise just isn't a very good champion at the moment.
Very true, very true. Now, we do like to see him on the Shin. He manages to find angles that don't exist, and that's what I like about him. You know, he makes things happen. He's an initiator in terms of, you know, the role as well as a person. And that's something that you really, that's the initiation I'm talking about as well.
Yeah.
So Crazy angles found, and this is when they beat Peace last time both these teams went head-to-head. So do you think we'll see the same thing, or is it going to be a bit harder today for Legacy, given that Peace have a completely different lineup, different roster rather, going into today's Skinny?
Well, I think both of these rosters are arguably some of the most aggressive in the early game that we have in this league. Peace probably the most, like #1, and they've proved it with some like the gold acquisitions, dominance through turrets, first bloods, objectives to say the few. But Legacy aren't afraid. Like they thrive in that environment. So you know, whilst I say they can fall to their own demise come 15 minutes, they're very willing to take all those handshakes of like, we could lose the game right here or we could win. We'll flip it. Let's see what happens, right? Like they are gankers, they are bloodthirsty initiators, and they'll just say, look, if it happens this way, it happens this way, whatever. And they've won a lot of games in that fashion.
Okay, well, there's one other bloodthirsty initiator, Ada, I know, and that is Nat. So let's bring her into the conversation and tell me why you're so good at initiating anything, including conversation with random players on the internet.
You just gotta have a little bit of no shame, Everyone wants to be friends, and if you take the plunge first, I guess the bloodthirsty plunge, then you two can make friends. I don't know if that really works together, but you know what? Okay. I'm gonna try and use that tactic as I go and talk to Violet and Incursio. Thank you both so much for joining me. Violet, Peace had a little bit of a ruffle week last week. You guys only got 1 win, so I want to know, do you think there's a lot more potential for you guys to get a 3-0 week this week?
Yeah, I think last week was a very rough week for us. I think we had like a long discussion afterwards, and I think our team environment has been really productive in terms of we're all able to like give feedback to each other, and like we're like not afraid to criticize each other no matter what, because at the end of the day all of us want to win. So I think we should be able to get like a 3-0 this week.
Yeah, I like to hear that that's what you guys are working on over at Peace. Do you think this roster change and all the conversations that you guys have been having, is going to be enough to get a win off of Legacy today?
I mean, we don't need a roster change to win against Legacy. I think like whichever like players, like whoever plays on our team, like we're just individually just better than them. And as long as we pull through with the proper macro, we should just get an easy dub.
And Incursio over on Legacy, you guys did get the win up against Peace last time you got there. Are you afraid of the new players and the new positions over on Peace, or do you think that there's not much that you have to change to still get a win?
I don't think we have much to change. I think it's still pretty standard gameplay from us. Gonna do the same thing. Try to smash them again. See what happens.
Playing after a rough week for Legacy last week as well.
You cut out, what did you say?
Oh, I just asked where your confidence is laying, like as a whole team, where Legacy is at after having a rough week last week.
I reckon it's like definitely a little bit lower than it was before, but we've talked about it, try to fix it up, see what happens again now this game.
I love hearing that you guys are really working hard, and I wish you both the best of luck in today's game. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nat.
Now, the real question is, what did Halo grab from the fridge? So if you guys in chat know, please let us know, or at least take a guess, and hopefully after the game, if Peace win, we can find out. Now,
I was about to say that. I think if chat put in their predictions right now what Halo got from the fridge, I''ll try and get him in an interview.
Like, I felt for that because there have been times, right, when like something else happens and one of us is like doing an interview or whatever, and everyone's cracking up and you're trying to keep composed, but I just saw him like Fortnite chugging in the background, like forget about the glass, bro, I'm on TV.
I love how that's what you guys noticed, and I'm like, damn, Violet's hair looks really good today.
Well, focused on the things that matter, of course. Now, something else that matters, kinda, mostly, maybe not to me anyway. Predictions. Let's have a quick look and see where everyone's currently sitting. 29 and 20. Look, chat's trying to make it even there for me. I might be able to be the first person that's completely negative in predictions ever if Twitch chat keep tanking these predictions.
When you
yeah, have we never had someone negative?
I feel like you were negative last split.
I wasn't. Maybe I was. But that's because there was that point where I was so far behind. I was like, I'm just going for the
Just
underdog.
give me 100. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Anyway, you guys have gone for Peace. What about you, Nat, over on the second page? Anything crazy going on over there?
No, I'm pretty sure I went for Peace as well. Okay. I have to say, I'm starting to not remember if Rusty's putting his predictions in our little group chat, because I feel like maybe Rusty's taking this more competitively than a lot of us.
after I smashed last split, I've kind of just put my feet up and said I don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. I'll go for the underdogs, whatever.
I'm
And
scrolling
Rusty's
chat.
like, nah.
I'm scrolling chat and I don't see it.
Yeah,
is
no,
he DMing?
Yeah, he's
Is he
DMing.
DMing off the
Yeah,
two
yeah,
That's what I mean.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. I don't
Yeah.
remember
What
him
level of
putting
sweat
predictions.
is
That's what
this?
I'm saying. That's exactly what I was hinting towards. I was like, I don't remember Rusty
no.
putting it in the chat. So like, is he going behind all of our backs to make sure that we can't copy him?
To be honest,
he hasn't been going behind our backs. I strictly remember him in our meetings saying, hey, Phil, did you get the DMs of my predictions? Unless that was maybe in a pre-show. Nah, you were definitely there for it, so... Maybe
I have a pretty bad memory.
Maybe you just all need to listen a little better.
I think
Rusty,
so.
Rusty, just
think
remember,
so.
when everyone comes for you, I'm the one that defended you, all right? I'm the man that stood your ground while you weren't here to do it, even though you're in Twitch chat. Now, Twitch chat, something else you're probably excited for is the game. And yes, it's ready, so hold your bloody horses. Champ Select is ready for round number 2. Round number 2, game 2. Go, take it.
Yes, yes, it's gone. Yes, we're here, we're here. Legacy, take it on Peace. Legacy beat Peace last time around, but very different rosters. Peace have changed the roster 3 times now. We've had a few games to warm up with this new edition of Tally, and bear in mind, you know, if you look at the side of Tally, Babip, and Halo, they were part of that Worlds run for Legacy 2020.
they were actually. That's a good reminder. I actually completely forgot about that. And Halo played quite a few games for that Legacy outfit, right, back in that day. And I mean, he even went to Worlds with them. So
Yep.
again, it's like that synergy is all there. They've played with each other. They've lived with each other. You know, all that kind of needs to sync up now is with the bot side of the map. And, you know, if you're a Peace fan, I think nothing else but a win is an option in this game.
I wonder, Juves, I wonder if there's any like slight back and forth between Tally and Halo saying, you know, I actually got mid lane over you, Halo. I actually took it from you. But here we go. That's what we wanted to see. We were yet to see it, but a brand new patch 11.14 and a lot of mechanically gifted players on Peace that can make this one work.
Yeah, they play it both ways, right? Halo can play it, Tally can play it. So it's a flex pick. And I'm more excited to see it in the mid lane.
Sure.
I don't really think Aurelia has bad matchups in general at the moment. But then, you know, in the mid lane specifically, I don't think a bad matchup exists. First pick Leona is interesting. I don't think we've seen ML play much of the Leona, so that's a wild pick there, first pick.
Certainly is. We look at his match history right now. It's been a whole bunch of Fresh as well as Nautilus, so it's been sticking to the hard engages, no surprises there. Not really opting too much into the Enchantress. The last game play against the Direwolves was as the Rakan, but still the same narrative. So Leona complemented with, well, the hover right now seems to be Lee Sin. We're going to go to the Zinza. No surprises there. Sybil, big engage.
The one thing that I wanted to, I guess, skim on, no puns intended, but it was the fact that the Graves has been banned. Maybe the +2 AD has really just sent Graves into a realm of no return. I think I saw Pabu mention on Twitter or something like that, that the clears like shaved 10 seconds off. Now, I don't know if that was a meme, like if it went from 325 to 315, but if it did, like if +2 AD did do that, then that's a pretty big deal.
Yep.
So again, I don't know if that's facts or not. If not facts, yell at Pabu. If facts, come to me and say, well done, Brandon. But nevertheless, you know, Diana and Nautilus being locked in here. So far, Nautilus was not locked in, but so far I really like this draft coming out of Peace, right? You've got your AD mid laner combined with your AP jungler. You got your hard engaged support because we know that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it just, this is what I want to see coming out of Peace.
Yes, it's hard engage, right? They basically say that we know that Legacy are going to be playing the same kind of style, but we feel like we can do it better. We're mechanically gifted, mechanically better than you. So if you are willing to take those trades, then we will find those small skirmishes and that plays to do battle with. So curious now to see what Legacy respond back with, as we have seen a fair bit of flexibility from them, in particular from Winterer, who's been the first one to play the GP as well. But we're going to go with the Silas, so that's going to be their AP option for mid lane, and you bet your bottom dollar it's going to be Incursio.
Yeah, that's rough though, right? Like, because Aurelia has such a good time into this Silas, it is going to be a very, very tough go for Incursio if this is in fact Halo playing the Aurelia. So again, maybe kind of pinched himself into a bad matchup. But again, like, Incursio's probably thinking, well, what do I pick, right? Because I can't opt in for the Lucian, but I have Xin Zhao mid. So then all of a sudden, you know, you're forced into Aurelia just building, you know, those Tabis or those boots, and it's going to be a rough time as well. So, yeah, I mean, so far, you have to say the draft is looking pretty good for Peace.
Yeah, going to be very happy with this one, aren't they? As the second rotation of bans come out, Varus and Kaiser both removed away, both 80 carries. Very proficient at a champion. There we can see Tally's now in the gaming house, so linked up with the boys.
Yeah.
Ready to do it justice. Curious to see, though, what the bot lane will be.
He looks alright, Tully, doesn't he, there? I mean, he looks like he's dressed up for the occasion. Like,
Yeah.
he's just, you know, he looks like he's got a game at 7, League of Legends game at 7, but he'll meet you out at the bar.
He's got the clubs at 9.
Yeah, clubs at 9.
Yeah. He's like, drinks on me, boys, DoorDash delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he forgets that he's actually in a lockdown. So, he, in fact, I'll just meet you up in the upstairs lounge, and where will be there'll be a VIP, you know, booth security and all that. But back to draft before this gets a little bit
Absolutely, we can definitely get carried away with this
Yeah.
one. We don't have enough time to talk and analyze as it is.
Yeah.
As Set has been removed, so glad to see that one. We know that Winter is fantastic at that individual pick. Has found some fantastic engagements in the past. Was the Kalista 2. We've seen Violet play it, but we're a little bit critical of him from the other day when he played it and had 100 CS lead. Wasn't able to transition that in this particular scenario with the Nautilus. Wasn't able to do much with it. So you now start to narrow down this champion pool. You know that style is probably going to veer towards this Ezreal as he's picked up. But I suppose the question now becomes, what do Peace go for? Because you're thinking Kog'Maw, Tristana, Aphelios.
I was thinking
as these
Vayne
type of
angle,
carries.
man. Just go Vayne. Get the Vayne out. Why not? Into Ezreal, it's a fine lane.
Yeah.
Then you know, you got the Leona, that's fine as well. Tumble, Condemn, you get the Zinzao off you as well. Percent HP shred. Why not? But Tristana, obviously the safer of the two. So obviously don't mind that one being picked up there. But yeah, we've got Unbench the Kench, Uninhibit the Ribbit. What else?
Look, I can't think of anything witty on the fly right now. But I tell you what, though, this is going to be exciting because we're going to get to see two of the picks that we were, you know, quite excited to see as a whole. You know, these key picks between the Aurelia and the Tahm Kench. And we're bringing it back with the Tristana as well. So it kind of fits the narrative that you want to be aggressive, you want to jump on through. And I tell you what, if Peace find anybody locked in CC or damage, Tristana is just going to be able to get reset after reset.
Yeah, and I guess the thing that we don't really have you know, any stats for or a real quantity for is how this Tahm Kench Lee Sin lane goes. I think you would you'd be lying if we said, you know, we really knew that fact it is, you know, Tahm Kench favored or Lee Sin favored, right? So again, it's going to be a little bit of a skill check, right? How many tongue lashes, tongue whips, whatever you want to call it, how many toad tongues can latch onto that Lee Sin?
Toad tongues, I like that one.
That's
Look,
a toad tongue, isn't it?
Yeah, no, just the lyrical nature is poetic. It's fantastic. I'm listening.
I got
I'm
a
all for this.
PhD in linguistics from the western suburbs.
Okay. Well, I can clearly see it's on full display right here. You're qualified for the job, mate. I tell you what, I'm keen to see how Winter navigates this champion because obviously a little bit more aggressive right now. You can, you know, burrow yourself in, pop up somewhere, very quick channel, so it's kind of hard to sidestep it, and the sustain is going to be pretty crazy. So you'd imagine if Tally does commit there with a Lee Sin, you better believe that he knows how this trade works.
Yeah. I mean, across the board, right, I like Legacy's draft. The only question mark I have, and it's a very big question mark ping, is the Sylas into Aurelia. Like, he's such a bad lane for Sylas, particularly if the Aurelia is proficient. And I know Halo has put so much time into the Aurelia. So I really do think this game's going to blow open in the jungle mid 2v2. You know, if Sybil is able to babysit in Curcio and get him a lead, sure, maybe a different ball game. However, Babip, I think, is just a little bit too good to let that go to, like, let that go down to a coin flip. Like, he's going to be able to protect Halo, let Halo do his thing in that 1v1. Tally's not really going to lose topside, you would hope. And Violet and Appy, you know, again, not really going to be in much danger of losing to an Ezreal and a Leona. Whereas, like, Legacy's comps probably going to fare much better out of lane, but the lane kingdom, you would say, would come from Peace. But even so, like, their group is still fantastic. So I'm excited to see how this game kind of breaks out in the skirmishes, in the 2v2s, in the 3v3s. Yeah.
The champions that fit the bill, aren't they? They really are the champions that fit the stylistic nature of both teams. Hard engage, ability to pop off, ability to, you know, rotate around the map and say, we're not afraid. We're not afraid to go toe-to-toe with you and do battle and do it justice.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see that, you know, when champion pools have been pinched, they've got such depth to draw from.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to... I'll be honest, excuse me, I didn't hear.
Are you lost, mate?
No,
You're lost.
I had I had something else happen, but
okay, yes. It happens.
So we're coming to us, Skimmy. That's the information
Yep.
that I was gathering
think,
when I didn't hear you.
Yes. Absolutely. Look,
It was a little
I'm
bit
not gonna throw out predictions as to what you're up to, mate.
Don't throw me under the... It wasn't my fault. I was listening, but then I had to listen to someone more important than you at the time.
Okay. It happens,
Yeah.
mate. Understandable.
Not
You know,
that-
producer Witherby, he knows.
You are the most important person in my life. However, there are higher beings associated
you,
with
bro.
this broadcast that I must listen to at certain times.
Yeah, the people off the camera, they, look, there's a reason they're not on the camera because they're,
Hey, mate, all I'm saying is you don't pay the bills. That's what I'm saying.
yes, well, that's it. Let's leave it at
Yeah.
that, eh? Slight delay getting ourselves into the game, so we'll wait to get a bit of an update
and
from
here
that
we
in a
go.
second. And, well, okay, we are. I've been debated, but we
Check
are ready
W.
to rock and roll with the second game of the night. Peace taking on Legacy. And to help guide us through it, we do have Coach Series on the line.
Awesome. What's up, Skimmy?
Yeah, good, bro. Yourself? How's it been? Because a bit of a humbling defeat, right? You know, 3 defeats last week against some very
Absolutely.
strong opposition. So I suppose, what were the takeaways from that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that when we came into the Pentanet and the Chiefs matchups, we had something to prove, right? And we failed to do so. But at the end of the day, we got trounced by the first and second place team that are both looking very strong and very consistent. You know, Pentanet's found their form again. I think the game that really hurt the most was losing against Star Wars, where we not necessarily just losing, but also having basically a reverse performance of what we did last time. So obviously, like you said, it is really humbling for us. We had to really refocus this week. You know, like change things up a little bit in terms of the way we're going to approach the game. And hopefully this week we'll see some better results.
Fantastic. I mean, what is that approach to this game in particular? Because I've kind of harped it up to be, you know, the battle of these 2 early game titans, right? You love to both brawl and skirmish and show off what you can do, and the draft reflects that. So, how do you see this matchup playing again, knowing that, you know, Peace have changed their roster around a bit?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's all about trying to realize some consistency. That's always been our issue. And so for us, we want to have some form of like coherency across our draft in terms of, you know, and across all the games, whether or not we want to skirmish together and giving ourselves options so that Sybil doesn't just have to play around simply like one lane. We can go through top lane. We could have like a potentially strong skirmish through bot lane as well. Basically just giving themselves some flexibility and having the same kind of coherency across the entire map is really important.
Fantastic. And just on a final note, Tom Kench finally on, brand new patch 11.14. It's good to finally see it, you know, not in a supporting role, but as a solo laner. We know that Winter is, you know, so strong as an individual. So why should we be excited to see this one?
Yeah, look, I think after this game, people are going to want to start banning Tom Kench against us.
Well, you heard it here first. Coach Series, pleasure as always, mate. I wish you boys the best of luck.
Cheers, mate.
Well, Juice, unfortunately, we did get cursed. To be expected from these 2 teams. A first blood did happen, but I was keeping my eyes on things.
Yeah, like we said, Sybil just ganking and banking, right? You know, doing what he does best. Now, before, I guess, Halo died, I wanted to say this is how bad the Aurelia into Silas matchup is, particularly because the Aurelia does take Ignite as well. And like that was a solo bolo. I mean, and if it wasn't, that was Incursio having to burn teleport, get back to lane. Halo has, you know, complete lane control. Sybil really does bail him out, and you'd have to say a little bit of a questionable death. Now mid lane is frozen towards Incursio, and Halo's actually going to have to ask for help to break this freeze. And ooh, some nice trades coming there.
Yeah, gonna go for a cheeky
Wow.
bit of an all. Look at that damage. That's a max W.
Yep.
This is kind of what you expect to see. A new variation on this new Aurelia. You can max that, and that just gives you max mitigation, but just a whole bunch of damage. And I need to find that right now as Halo's baited in his jungler. Bebep saying, why me? And now, Incursio's 2-0.
Now, can I say, I stand by the mid-jungle 2v2 of Peace being significantly better than Legacy's, but they are just playing it better. Like, ML has found a window to roam, and this is why this Ezreal pick is key, because Ezreal can't really be punished versus a Nautilus and a Tristana, at least pre-6, right? We're seeing Ezreal's even CS, like he has a 10 minion wave under turret that he's going to be able to farm, and ML...
Look at
Yeah.
that.
Unbench the
When he
catch,
dives
baby.
underwater, he has to go for a flash. He's dashed it before, but he's realizing the power and the nature
Oh!
of this one is far too strong. Tally gets a better hand of him. He's managed to beat him. The shield, the mitigation, you thought it might have just been enough, but now it's a case of dodging these skill shots. When becomes lightning, when's it going to come out? Sybil! He sidestepped it. He's better at a TP. He's bought enough time here for Bebek, but he can safeguard away. And how has Tally survived that?
Yeah, huge, huge. I think that's a little bit of a misplay from Sybil though, right? Because if Winter is teleporting back to lane, it's pre-6 Diana, you take that 2v2 all day. All day you take that 2v2, but he didn't want it. You know, Tally ends up surviving with the safeguard, so Babip does a really good job bailing his top laner out, and this is exactly what we wanted to see from Tally, right? And can I just reiterate that, like, even though Incursio is, like, quote-unquote ahead, he's down EXP, well, not anymore, but he's actually ahead. He's got 2 kills, he's got a bounty, Aurelia's behind. This is still Halo's lane. Like, Halo at 6 with the Ignite still kills Incursio. Like, I just want to reiterate that. Like, it's not all doom and gloom. However, Legacy have done a very good job in nullifying what is their kind of weakest point of the map just due to draft. But that, I wanted to also say that I saw Halo's put 2 points into W. I haven't seen, you know, what he's going to max, but 2 points into W with the passive, with the fully charged kind of channel of that W, if you will, literally almost did what? A third?
Yeah, it just blasted him. It's unexpected damage. It's just not... I mean, you're conditioning players to remember what Aurelia's like, and now you're seeing that he's got 3 points into it. He might just actually go for the full max. We've seen snippets of this elsewhere in the world. It seems to be proving quite strong so far. Mitigation on physical and mitigation on magical damage. And that only gets better as the game goes on. Going to scale fantastically here. Get to see if that means anything in this context. There's... You know, Legacy do have those kills, but it is still peacekeeping toe-to-toe to them with better farm. Exhaust goes down to Violet, standing still right now, fighting through fire as the explosive shot connects with Styled.
That's a very good trade coming out of the side of Legacy, right? And I mean, this lane so far is going very well for them. You have to consider ML left to go mid lane, killed Babip, and so in terms of map influence, ML has had, you know, the big influence obviously with that assist already, but they're not down farm. Usually you want to see a trade-off, right? Like if ML leaves lane and you're laning 1v2, there has to be a CS lead going to the side of Styled. But due to Violet having Tristana, he's actually not able to freeze bot lane because the way that Tristana kind of auto-pushes from last hitting. So that means that Styled actually isn't denied any CS, and he's actually not even denied any turret plates. So again, like if you're taking stock of how the game's like panning out, at least in the early game, it's looking good for Legacy. I guess the one place that we thought they wouldn't be behind, and they are, is topside. We really did think Winterer was going to pick up that solo bolo, but he just got outplayed by Tally.
Yeah, just a fraction. It was literally an auto attack difference between the two of them, wasn't it? But once again, mid lane is explosive. That's where you're expecting to see all these fights really stem from. All the waves pushing against Legacy right now, but they seem quite content just to farm on the turret.
Now the problem, he actually had to do that, unironically, because what I was going to say, the problem with this new Tahm Kench is when you eat someone, you can travel much further than previous, right? Like, you are able to walk almost from like halfway in the lane, back to turret, spit them under turret. Tally had no flash. So if he gets stunned at that point in where he was, that is 100% Tally going under tower, taking tower aggro, no flash, and he's as good as dead. So, I mean, Tally seems like he's played against this Tahm Kench, and he really knows how to lane against it.
A lot of CC. It would have been lights out there with the passive kicking. Halo building up that passive once again. 4 stacks is the charm, is the treat. Looking to go for the fight right now as he pops the ultimate. Locks in place underneath this turret right here. Conflicted with what he wants to do as Appy Hex flashes in to steal a bit of XP and prevent Legacy from continuing that play.
Well, it sounds funny, but who goes first actually loses in that skirmish, because both supports need their Aftershock up to tank the majority of that damage that's going to come out through from the Xin Zhao or the Diana. So if you're countering that play, if you're the counter gank, you probably win that. So it's kind of like a little bit tentative, a little bit standoffish, but good discipline from both sides. Babip waited, Appy didn't go in once he hex flashed, and might be in trouble, but there's no kick from Babip.
Could be in trouble. He doesn't have a flash.
Oh, no kick from Tally rather. Look at that damage, by the way. That's one tongue lash, tongue whip, toad slam.
Welcome to the jam. Yeah, gone. Absolutely. Taking up the fight very early on and kind of acting a little bit similar to a set, right? You know, don't gank me because it's going to be pretty much 9 impossible.
But then I guess we need to... Ooh.
True Shot Barrage does go on towards Appy, but the Aftershock was there to mitigate a whole bunch of that one, and Milk might be in trouble right now. Absolutely he is. Rocket jump on his head, but he's going to cop a fair bit of damage in the trade. Stone looking to try and get that kill onto Violet. Sybil, does he hit the flash? Max range, he gets it, and a double kill! And he redeems himself for the misplay topside.
The Scheibel, huh? Is that what we call him now when he does something? Look at that, and they bring
that's
up
his
the
reaction.
stat.
That's his reaction. He's like, oh, yikes. Was that me? Did I just get a double kill?
I reckon producers just sat there with his
Producer
finger on the hotkey, waiting for the Sybil gank, and he's just like, yep, yep. You know what time it is?
It's too perfect.
Yeah.
It's too perfect.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a mechanical masterclass, and it sounds funny to say, you know, when you're playing the Xin Zhao, but he buffered the W with the flash, and we're going to get the replay here, because why not? Again, this 2v2, I thought was just a shambles for Legacy. Like, it was going to be probably a double kill for Violet, but the turn damage, how long ML survived there, ends up trading 1-for-1 on the back end, but look. Oh, all right.
Well, we've got to go back to live, but you know what the end result was on that occasion? Now,
Look at
1v3 again. He's just getting ganked. It's a bit of a support gap here because the Milk's here first. He's tanking the turret up like you would not believe it. And now Sybil and Incursio are unbelievably strong. 5-0 between them.
The way Sybil and ML are playing the map is just unreal. This is probably, you know how you think of like a duo, right? You consider bot lane to be a duo. I think the most crucial unsung duo in a competitive game is the jungle support, right? The really good teams consistently have their jungle and support move out of base together and secure vision. You see those question mark pings on the red side jungle of Peace, right? That's vision secured by Sybil and ML. And when they get that vision, they pivot that into a mid gank because they know where everyone is. They know Babip's not countering, they know Appy's not countering that gank, and they're able to put Halo at such a deficit. Like, this mid lane matchup should just be a wash for Halo into Incursio, but Legacy have just made it work.
And it's hilarious to think because he still has a huge individual CS lead, but in terms of kills and the item spikes that are soon to come, yeah, Sybil and Incursio have been working, you know, wonderfully in tandem to say this is the area of the map we want to target, and this is how we're going to get ourselves ahead. Is Halo once again looking for a cheeky trade, but he has to be frustrated with how this one's playing out.
Yeah, I mean, the scary thing is like, you know, at what point do you not win anymore? Like, at what point does Halo lose the ability to 1v1 Silas? Because I'd say he still has that ability. And, ooh, okay. That's
TP. They're forcing this one, Juves. They're coming in from the backline as Incursio's going for it, flashing out the solar flare, but now two bruises jumping on his head. There's the Toad. Knocks him up, but bops him away. And Appy will have to be the sacrificial lamb as the boys to back them up from bot side river aren't there quick enough. Violet zoned underneath this turret, but Babbitt wants to jump in. One man ult, following on through, looking for the moonlight, looking for the follow-up, looking for the damage. Can they find it? Sidestep that from Tally. And Halo now in a 1v2 situation with Vanguard's edge popped. He finds a shutdown, he takes that Incursio. That's huge for him. Sybil now looking to try and jump on through, but that's now Halo with a double kill. And Scheibel might just be able to take them all on through, but it's going to be styled on this occasion that bites back with a double of his own.
Now, the one thing I have to say here is that there was a bit of an int from Incursio. This play for Legacy could have gone so much better, but Silas used the buster shot from Tristana that he stole to push Violet to safety, and ultimately doesn't cost them the skirmish because they did break even, but that could have been so much better for the side of Legacy. However, we're seeing the Aurelia, like, from a deficit, is able to do this in this skirmish. So we see on the back end here, it's so good. Tom Kench to a T, and then look at that. Yeah, like, you know, that's another member falling down. All of a sudden, Violet doesn't participate. But watch Halo on the back end here. Gets backline access. Tally with the kick, so good. Tom Kench showing us why he's such a valuable pick with that E. But, I mean, even on, you know, I don't even think he has an item completed. I could be wrong in this particular skirmish. I didn't take stock of Halo's itemization, but he picks up the double kill. Sybil gets there a little bit too late. Violet is still participating in that skirmish.
Still a nice edgeless game, I'll tell you that much. 14 minutes in, the turret plates are gone, and it is Legacy with a 2k gold lead. Well, just about. Yep. They're not done yet. They want more, Jubes.
Look at this
They collapsed again. This part of the map just belongs to Legacy.
You know what also I got told, and I don't know, I think it was Rusty told us this in the meeting. The Palm W, so which is like that mini teleport where he does the dive and comes out of the ground, it's you can't see it as the enemy, or you see it extremely late where it's very hard to juke. Right? Yeah. So I know, like, we see it early and we're like, well, why are they getting knocked up? Like, why are they just stepping over to it? And it's actually not as simple as that. It's not as simple as just walk away. So I just wanted to like pop that one out there because probably a lot of viewers at home haven't played against new Time Kench, or you know, they don't really know what his new kit's like. So the ultimate for Time Kench is actually the gobble, is where he eats either an ally or an enemy, and the W, which was the gobble, is now the I guess the mini teleport, if you will.
And that's why you're seeing him swap from the bot lane as a support to protect, now being a bruiser in the top lane to be a nuisance. And you know, you talk about that dive being frustrating as it is. Well, it doesn't get much easier, right? He's just hit the Frostfire Gauntlet. If he locks you in place, his passive is a guaranteed stun, and the Abyssal Dive to follow up afterwards. That's just a whole bunch of CC individually provided.
Yeah, and Curse is the richest guy in the game. But I mean, Halo's not too far behind, right? So despite, you know, him, I think it was 0-2-0. He's picked up 2 kills now, but he's in a pretty good spot. The one point of contention that I wanted to talk about was that Violet is actually down like a level and a half. I mean, I can't even remember the last time we've seen Violet be down this much farm, this much EXP, and, you know, it's ML that's been out of lane. Like, ML has 7 KP out of 10, right? So, I mean, the Legacy bot lane, it's absolute turbo smurfing.
I mean, if you look at the stats for Violet as an individual across this entire split, he's got the highest XP difference at 10 minutes consistently. You could say the same for his gold acquisition and his CS per minute. You know, the guy's a monster. He's cracked, as they say. But on this occasion, he's been able to find the same levels of success. But let's see what they can do now as a cross-map play takes place. Legacy find 1 turret. The Herald's been summoned bot side as Peace mount their own assault. 3 members strong. Turret soon to fall. True Shot Barrage to try and pad that wave a fraction more. And it looks like both teams are staying strong and committing to what they've decided to do.
It looks like Peace have a bigger emphasis on the Rift Herald since their last game against Gravitas, right? Like, this is the 2 Rift Heralds that they've picked up. And they've actually been able to secure quite a bit of gold. You know, they're down 6 kills. They're up farm for sure, but look at the gold lead really isn't that big.
It shrunk.
Yeah, with all things considered, right? And this is due to the Rift Heralds that have been picked up, as well as the CS leads. You know, there's a CS lead top, CS lead mid. And again, this is with all the attention that's gone in Cursio's way. He's still down deficit. And I don't even think this is his fault necessarily. This is just like, you know, you have to ride the wave or the storm, if you will, of the matchup.
Mid lane getting pushed in here from Legacy. Curious to see, Juves, what the preference is for Incursio, what ultimate he decides to pick up, take away. Obviously he has double kick. Has the ability to jump on through and lock multiple members in place and guarantee to follow up from the likes of Leona as well as the Time Kench.
It's a very good Silas game in the sense there's some very nice ultimates for you to take. I mean, across the board, all of them are good. I mean, if you want to give a bit of distance, give a bit of space to your Ezreal from this Aurelia, you can just take Tristana or blast the shot Aurelia away, or the Diana, and deny a lot of their engage, as well as the Lee Sin kick. But if you want something that's a little bit more lockdown, take the Nautilus ulti. So again, a lot of options. But I think, yeah, the thing that I'm most concerned about right now is Halo. Yeah, he's starting to ramp up and look like quite the threat. Nearly has that, I guess, what's he opting for? Trinity Force, I guess?
Yeah, I'm curious to see actually what variation he goes for. If it will be the Divine Sundra, still a possibility. Trinity Force definitely on the cards, but the percentile sure could be quite nice.
Yeah. I do see a lot of Aurelias go Gore Drinker. Just because like you have so much percent HP shred with your passive when it's fully stacked up, that the survivability being, because again, your champion's like all backline. So you're going to be hit by multiple members. So you get so much value from that Gore Drinker healing. However, he's opted in for like the Blade of the Ruined King again, which not a terrible item by any means.
He isn't. Halo, nice little blade surge, duking away there from the Solar Flare. Is Nano might find himself some spot above that. It's a good flash from Emil. In comes Incursio, stolen the Nautilus ult. Depth charge can be used. Everfrost is respected. And that has to be flashed away from as he goes gold and then cancels out an ult. Good active usage there. Micro outplays. Tully v Sybil in the jungle.
I think that's a little bit of a mistake there from Incursio. And that's probably harsh or critical. But I think there was really a window in where instead of Everfrosting Halo, he could have used the Nautilus ult on him. Then even if Halo flashed, he's still going to get locked down by it. And potentially you pick up the kill there and take that 4v5 fight, maybe even get the turret. But, you know, Dragon is spawning, so... Third Dragon as well, by the way, Skimmy.
Yeah, Legacy been well ahead of this, haven't they? I mean, it's been this part of the river that's belonged to them. Double stopwatches are available. Both both Incursio and Babbitt. Everybody grouped up. Peace do not want to give this one the chance.
Now, for the duration of Aurelia having no ultimate, I think this is a very good fight to take for Legacy. All they need to consider right now is the Diana engage.
Tally hunting for an angle with that Sonic Wave to try and find a kick onto a particular target. There's the depth charge, knocks up one. Looking to try and run away now as Zappy's in a fair bit of trouble. Sidesteps the True Shot Barrage, but he's already down to 50%, a big component of their engage.
Sounds funny to say here, but literally let Tahm Kench poke. Let Tahm Kench just fling those tongues about. It's not going to be any meaningful poke, but it's just annoying.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's messy. And it's enough to follow up after the fight
No
is gone.
flash.
Triple Dragons here for Legacy as the Milk still wants more. He wants kills.
Oh.
And Kiryu flashing forward the move for, but he wasn't close enough for it to even do anything. But the Everfrost, the second charge will connect. And now Halo still doesn't have that ultimate and has no escape plan.
For someone that's a pretty good mechanical player, that's pretty bad for me, Curcio. But I mean, it's the same result, right? They identified the pick, and ML is just pulling the trigger. Like, we haven't seen him play much of this Leona, but I tell you what, he's making it work. And this is a Baron that's halfway done.
And Milk's face checking. He's actually running to the
Babbitt's
bush
in trouble.
without any vision. Now he's in a fair bit of
Oh, the
trouble. As you
Tommy.
say, Devour comes on out. That's fantastic to know. As Milk was in trouble,
That's Baron. Babip's dead. Halo's
they
dead.
just removed Babip. Well, here's an turn of events.
Gimme. What's going
Legacy
on?
might be looking to do it 2 from 2 now. Causing all kind of problems. A Dragon, a 1 fight, and now a Baron.
I mean, that's, again, not a very big gold lead. Big enough, for sure. Substantial. Like, in the context of the game, it's enough. But what are they going to get with the Baron, right? That's the question. Because, again, they have an outer turret to take in mid lane. They're probably going to break the tier 2. You know, they may even break the tier 2 bot side, and the turrets are worth more gold, Skimmy. So, again, this potentially balloons out.
Certainly does. We're looking at a 4K lead, soon to be acquired. As that's a lot of gold that's available for them to push with. If they can just find an opening. Peace seeming to be a little bit frustrated by the circumstances. That last couple of minutes of play really working against them. There is that Divine Stutter that you wanted to see. And now Halo sitting on a 2-item spike with ultimate available.
They can't defend.
Might just be able to rack up some more kills.
And this is the problem that Pace's comp has. Well, this is not necessarily Pace's comp. It's any comp that has, you know, 2 melee range or no wave clear. The moment that you fall behind, you can't stop the bleeding. I think this is a terrible reset from Legacy. Like, they probably have items, but I think it's terrible in the sense that they're giving Pace room to breathe. This is the duration of their Baron, right? Like, Pace aren't looking for a fight, and you can tell by the way that they're setting up that you had plenty of time to just take those 2 turrets, 1 in the mid lane, 1 bot side, and you probably still win a fight, to be honest with you. Like, if you just look at the items, you know, I don't think there's a realm in which Pace just win a fight. I mean, look at the Ezreal.
Wow.
Yeah, like, I mean, as long as Ezreal stays alive, it is just too hard to win.
Frustration starting to creep in here a little bit. You can visibly see that Violet would be like, well, hang on a minute, you know, I'm usually the one doing the gapping. And as it stands right now, Styled is insanely fed. And Israel, much cheaper item builds, already hit the core crux of everything that is necessary for it. Frozen Heart can't be too far away, and that's going to get insane value against what Peace
Yeah,
has.
and I mean, genuinely wouldn't have mind to have seen Style just go Divine Thunderer in this game, just because there's so much threat, right? Like, it's a double AD.
Hang on a minute, Juves, because we might just see another fight. Out goes the ultimate. The
Oh,
Stribal jumping
wow.
on through, gets devoured, then looks to try and burrow charge away. Not going to be enough. The pistol dive can't come out quick enough. Shut down found here by Babbitt. The kills continue. Styles now finally rocking up to the team fight. He's huge, remember that. He might be in a 1v4 this fight on his own. Emil jumps in and removes Appy, and they want to go for the full ace. Only Tally and Violet remaining. Tally runs one way, Violet the other, and he's the last man standing.
Can they end? Can they end? That's a base from Emelk? Okay, he's not teleporting back. So they might just look... Baron buff timed out as well, so they'll just take this turret. Potentially they don't take Inhib. We'll have to see what they do. Do they want to hang around with Halo alive?
Inhib seems gone. Halo has respawned. It's a 2v3 if they were to go for a bit of a contest here.
I tell you what, I'm pretty sold on this Tahm Kench pick. Bit of a rough lane.
Yeah.
Like, he should have had a solo kill. I think he misplayed, but Tale outplayed in the same sense. But you know, just the Devours, I don't even know if the ultimate's called Devour anymore, by the way. Maybe I need to fact check myself. But the Devours from Time Kench have just, you know, been offered so much in these skirmishes, as well as the mobility, like to the skirmishes, right? To be able to knock people up, the damage as well that's coming on through. It'll be interesting to see the stats after the game. But I mean, yeah, so far so good. This Time Kench pick, right? It's just a body in the front line. It has pure, not engage, but can follow up the engage as like a secondary or like, you know, a third body in.
It's been so disruptive, and you know, we talked about the Frostfire Gauntlet being one big spike. He's now got the Anathema's Chains. It doesn't get much better than that as the Devourer comes out.
The shield too you get is a little unreal.
Yeah, a little too good, as you would say.
A little bit too good. Here we go.
Soul Point up for grabs. This is the last ditch effort here for Peace. Stop just getting it done. It's 2 kills picked up as cleanly as you like. Legacy might be picking up another victory against Peace. 20 kills to 5. 25 minutes in. That might just be game.
The top lane inhibitor, you know, that's a TP from Incursio if he wants to. Like, he should TP to that cannon minion. No? Okay. No.
Okay.
We're pacing ourselves.
They certainly are pacing themselves. They've got themselves another turret in mid lane. There's the Soul Point. Mountain Soul. He's up and available. We're going to find insane value into the dive squad of Peace. But don't even need it, Jubes.
Nah, I think...
They're crushing him without it.
Look, you know me, I'm very optimistic. And even I run the optimism even... Oh, ML, you do not want to be there, buddy. Or do you?
Well... He's incredibly tanky, I'll tell you that much. He's not going to take any damage whatsoever, nor is Starred right now between the Soul and the Frozen Heart. But Emelg, maybe a little bit too adventurous on that occasion.
He's just gone full limit test, but they still win.
Looking for it once again. There's the depth charge.
Tally
He's got
on the
himself
flank.
a GA. There's a Devour as well. Tally from the flank, looking for that kick target. Going on to Star, but then gets turned around on by Sybil, who's going for the W for the reset. Tally do whatever he can, but Winter amongst it all, it's just unkillable.
Unbench the Kench, uninhibit the Ribbit. What is it? Unload the Toad? I don't know what else they are, but he's just 15 assists, no kills, not dying on the front end of the team fight. Style doing so much damage. I mean, this Legacy outfit, when they're on, right? The way they play the map and the way that they move around as a team, it's fantastic to watch.
I mean, Inkosu has 25 pages on that Magi.
I've read that book before, Skimmy, and let me tell you, it's a painful book.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cliffhanger, isn't it? But it ends with a victory for Legacy. That's what it's looking like right now. Soon to be a 10k lead at 27 minutes in, Juice. And, well, if you're a Peace fan right now, you are shaking in your boots.
Well, again, like I was saying, I'm the man of optimism, even to the point where sometimes say, like, is he being serious? Like, does he actually genuinely believe? And I mean, I'm trying to find a way back into the game, but look, it's a 3-level lead in the jungle. I mean, it's just that Diana from 3 levels down, what does it do? What does it offer in the skirmish? And again, even if you can say, yeah, the CC, the damage, the base damage, whatever, but they have a Mountain Soul as well.
I'm just getting flashbacks to the old version of Ezreal where he hit the Death Stance, like 300 armor. You just can't touch him. You literally can't in this competition. These guys are just unkillable. They control the map. They run this map. And they are really bringing it to Peace and saying, look, you need to buck your ideas. 3 variations on this roster, but you still can't beat us.
And I actually said this to you, Skimmy. I was like, I really hope some teams have latched on to this Time Kench pick. Not necessarily as something that needs to be picked all of the time, but at least have it ready. Have it playable in mid lane and top lane, because I actually don't think Tam has many bad matchups mid either. Just due to the nature of, like, the Tongue Lash, like, just reduces all bad range matchups, because you land a couple of those in lane, all of a sudden that dude's half health.
This is a new patch, right? New patch, new ideas, and new strengths ready to be explored and exploited by these teams, and it seems that Legacy have cracked the code on this occasion. Running it down mid lane, looking for the end, this time with the Baron, this time with a cannon minion, and multiple waves as insurance if necessary. They're going to have to play it a little bit slower though. Piece of trimming this one down quite nicely.
Yeah, but as soon as you get those 3 waves of super, and we're not even going to wait for it. Because
ultimate committed. Not going to find anybody just yet. Just going to slow them, but no stun.
Incursio goes for earlier. Oh my goodness.
Gosh. Appy dropped the half. Just one combo from the Ezreal.
I think it was the empowered Q, like with the W, so...
Yeah.
At this point, though, ML can almost 1v1 Aurelia, like...
Halo's just gone.
Yeah.
Like, look at position of Tally. He's flanking, looking for a kick angle, but Halo's gone already. 3 and 7, not a game that he'll want to be too happy about, but regardless, Legacy are looking to end this one right now. Sybil in a fair bit of pain, but the Devour comes out clutching again. He doesn't die. Forget Lulu Karma. Devour Tom Kench is the new flavor. And Legacy are going to put a stamp seal delivered on this one. 30 minutes on the clock. And they take down Peace for the second time.
That's a blinder. And I mean, that's a convincing win, right? There was one skirmish from Legacy where you thought, they could have played it better. But from the whole game, from the onset and throughout, Legacy were in control. Sybil and ML, first, 10 to 15 minutes, just having a field day. Summoner's Rift, you could say Summoner's Rift was their playground. They owned the swings, they owned the slide, they owned absolutely everything, Mac.
No, they certainly did.
Yes, they certainly did. Now, what a game that was. I'm glad I got to watch it and I wasn't trying to unlock the door to my room all game. Now, I'm locked out of my room and have nowhere to sleep tonight. Hopefully the players have somewhere to sleep and I'm sure it was a good game.
How's that happen?
Oh, the missus just locked the door to the bedroom, so I've just been trying to open my door. So, and I missed the whole game, which I'm not going to even toss about. The thing I did see was, at the start, I saw Tally taking down Winter in the top lane. I was like, wow, this is cool. And then, chaos ensued from there. And then I come back and Legacy of 20 kills and Peace only have like 4. So what happened? Please tell me.
It was just a bit of a diff in the support position, for at least throughout the early game, right? ML got so much done. He was able to literally influence 3 lanes. And here from Sybil was probably the beginning of the end. Just a little bit of a masterclass, a little bit of an outplay, a little bit of a Xin Zhao, Mobifier guide, if you will.
Beautiful.
No, not beautiful. Mobifier guides we don't watch. But anyway, then there's a turret dive into the mid lane here. And again, this is probably the one question mark of the game. And it still wasn't even that bad. Like, it was just a 2v2. Was it a 2 for 2? Excuse me?
I'll tell you what, it was enough to make Peace lose this game, Juves. I don't even remember at this stage because the kill counter was so lopsided by the end of this game. It's crazy because I said, these were 2 very aggressive early game teams, and it felt to me that on this occasion it was Peace. That are like, okay, we've hit the 50-minute mark, we have no answers left. The draft was fantastic, and the matchups, whilst they had merit, weren't able to do enough.
Yeah, so, well, that's Legacy popping off, and now I thought Peace might have been in contention for that top spot on the ladder, but now they've lost to Legacy twice. So, if there's some world where Legacy and Peace are tied up somewhere on the standings at the end of the split before we jump into playoffs, ladies and gentlemen, Legacy are going to have the advantage because they've now won against Peace twice. So, we've got a couple of these odd situations that we need to deal with. Kind of like myself. Now, Nat, let's bring you back into the conversation. Please save me from this crazy, crazy game that's going on. Who do you have to chat to?
I'm going to be having a quick chat to Styled, and I have to say congratulations on the win. You didn't even die once down there on the Ezreal. You looked absolutely insane down there, but how did it feel playing that game?
It felt pretty good that game. We kind of just played towards mid because we knew that we had to punish Aurelia. For sure, Ezreal's pretty good at just being like playing safe. So it was pretty easy, I would say, in the early game, and then we just transitioned that with a lead to closing out the game. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had a really great early game, and I want to know the Tom Kench, right? Not only do I want to know more about the pick on him, but I want to know how often you guys are practicing that and also the Emelg rotations, right? Him going mid.
Yeah, I mean, Emelg's always been a player that really likes to roam more than like lane, I would say. That's why he like plays Bard. But I would say the Tom Kench is pretty broken after the buff. After the changes and the buff. So yeah.
Yeah, we definitely saw that in action today. We also saw a pretty, I guess, decisive Legacy. You guys knew where you were moving around on the map. You knew what objective you wanted to go for and what you wanted to do. Is that just something that has been in the works for a while? And who is doing most of that calling for you guys?
I would say the most vocal person on our team is Sybil. And he likes playing around mid. So like, when we were able to get games that we play around mid, I think he's enabled a lot more. than when he plays around like side lanes, I would say.
Okay, and the last really quick question is, if you could pick player that delivered for this game, who would you pick?
It's a hard one actually.
It is, yeah.
Maybe, I think we all played pretty well. That's actually a really hard question. Now I think about it. We all
You
played
say
really
yourself?
well, so. I could, yeah, potentially, yeah. I think I just did my job. Like,
Well-
I think I did most damage, but like that's irrelevant when you're playing Ezreal, I think.
Well, we will go back to the rest of the boys and have a look who did get player that delivered. But thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations again on the win.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. So, straight from the horse's mouth, he thinks everyone did a very good job. Are you good?
I mean, I'm
want to
overcoming a bit of a sickness, so I didn't want to cough into the microphone. I'm doing the hard yards. I wanted to be here with you guys, so.
Good man, good
Can
man. Now, the player that delivered, quickly, before you continue talking,
go for
Jubes, as much as we love Jubes talking, we also love the player that delivered.
We
and
love
that's been Emelg, so doing a great damn job
Oh my
there
God.
in support. Help
What
me.
is that? That's such a good mask.
Help me. Oh, I don't know. I don't care about the numbers. I care about what's going on the left side of the screen. Does he deserve the player that delivered with that?
What is
Skimmy?
it?
I think he's looking to try and apply for order to join their team's pre-lobby chat. Look, there's something going on there. But look, as Stard mentioned, it was actually a really hard call, right? Because you could talk about a lot of things, like how Sybil was able to affect the map by ganking the right place at the right time and individually performing well. Stard, he did his job and was unkillable. But I think Emel just rotated so often that he was able to really get that Steam train rolling by going through mid and saying that, Halo, you can't play.
Yeah, and I'm seeing 44 wards placed as well. That's pretty damn decent for a support considering how long the game went for. So keeping the vision up and making sure that Legacy could see their way to victory. I guess that's one way to see it. Now, we do have another match coming up, of course. That is going to be Gravitas and Mammoth, which is going to be interesting. Mammoth may have a chance to get their first W on the board, but you got Gravitas as well. Let's see if the changes here on the patch are going to favor them. Maybe it'll favor something crazy coming in for Mammoth as well. Who bloody knows though. But if you guys want to cat jam during the break, exclamation playlist, make sure you listen to all the sick tunes from Warner, and here's going to be another one. We are going to one more break. Gravitas and Mammoth coming up just after this.
Raj does go on towards Affy, but the aftershock was there to mitigate a whole bunch of that one, and Emel might be in trouble right now. Absolutely he is. Rocket jump on his head, but he's going to cop a fair bit of damage in the trade. Start looking to try and get that kill onto Violet. Sybil, does he hit the flash? Max range, he gets it, and a double kill. And he redeems himself for the misplay top side.
The shy bull, huh? No, can almost 1v1 Aurelia, like.
Halo's just gone.
Yeah.
Like, look at position of Tally. He's flanking, looking for a kick angle, but Halo's gone already. 3 and 7, not a game that he'll want to be too happy about, but regardless, Legacy are looking to end this